If you've just been made redundant, this can be a really daunting experience, especially whenever you haven't been expecting it coming. You might have just been handed a cash settlement and you're thinking that you're not sure when you're going to get paid next. So the natural default reaction is to become very worried about money. So whilst there's enough to be going on around looking for jobs, finding jobs, processing the news, I want to record this video and dedicate it to the financial element of things so that you know what to do with that settlement and how to take that pressure off yourself so that you can try and take advantage of this opportunity and make sure that by the end of it, you've actually see it as a financial positive for yourself. So the first thing that you should do whenever you get your redundancy is put your money in a savings account, okay? Now, I'm going to come back to later as to why that's important and what you can do with that. But putting it, first of all, into a savings account will make sure that you detach it from just sitting in your bank account and having all of this amount of money that's sitting available for you. Monzo have a great process where you can set up a Monzo account and have pots. And you can put that money in a savings pot and allocate that way. And if you don't have that, there's a link in the description that will set you up with a Monzo account. And if you click it, you can either get a £20, £50 or £100 bonus, which always helps. So set up that savings account and make sure you put that money aside. Next, you have to review your monthly outgoings, okay? A lot of people receive a severance package and think, right, I used to earn £4,000 after tax per month. I've received £40,000, so I've got 10 months, okay? But the reality is that that £40,000 that you spend every month, you probably save some of it, you probably spend it on luxury items, you probably have a cleaner perhaps, or you might have a personal trainer. There's these additional things that you've got extra expenses on. So what you need to do is go through all of your bills and calculate what are your essentials and what are your desirables. Can you pause your savings, for examples? Could you be your own cleaner if you have a cleaner? Is there other elements that you spend as a luxury that you can maybe scale back on? And if you look at that and realise that once you've done that exercise, your £4,000 outgoings are actually £3,000, then your 10 months of time has just increased to 13.3 months. So take the opportunity to look at your bills and think, what can I pause for now? And that'll give you a true sense of just how long the runway is and how much time you've got before you must find your next opportunity, okay? Next step is to hold aside 1 month of that overall figure. So in this example, that's £3,000. The reason you do that is because you do also need to spend and invest in order to make sure that you can take advantage of the time that this break gives you. So you've just processed something that's quite surprising. And if you get straight into the job market right away, some people are resilient enough to handle that, but the majority need to take the time to process this kind of news. So do you need a holiday? Do you need a break? You might want to use that £3,000 in this instance, that 1 month allowance, to take that break and try and get yourself to relax and settle before you have to go into the job market. Do you need to invest in counselling? Because this is a big change for you. You know, you might have been working for an organisation for 20 years. You might have a lot of loyalty to that team or that particular organisation. There might be other elements that's happened in your life, and this could have been the straw that kind of broke the camel's back. You might need to invest in counselling at this time in your life, and that's a good way to use that extra month's allowance to spend that. And finally, of course, I'm going to say career coaching. With career coaching, if you've someone that helps you identify the types of roles that you want to go for, write your CV for you, and coach you on interview skills, you could really accelerate the time and not spend the time on trial and error, and make sure that by the end of this journey, you've kept a bonus because you've managed to get back to work sooner through the support of a professional. And obviously, I am here to do that if you feel like that's something that you need support with. My clients all talk about how I've accelerated that journey to get them back to work. The next thing you need to think about then is paying yourself from the savings. So let's go back to that point of having it in a savings account. In this example, we've highlighted that £3,000 is the number that you need to allocate for each of your monthly bills. So on your previous payday, transfer that £3,000 into your current account and use it as if you would have done when you were earning, okay? This just saves that risk of having that big bank balance and seeing all that money and thinking, right, I'm going to spend it frivolously, when at this stage you don't know when you're going to earn your next income. So get into that rhythm so that it feels more normal for you and you can spend that money as you see fit. And the last step of this overall process, of course, is to go and get hired. You will be submitting applications, you'll be going through interviews, and you will secure your next role. And once you've secured that next role, hopefully, if it's all gone to plan, you've invested in the right services and you've managed to find an opportunity that works for you in your life, You'll have a spare pot of money at the end of all this that you can then decide to do whatever you want with. But the point is, you no longer need to pay yourself from that severance package, and you've ended up with a scenario where you've got spare change at the end of this overall journey. So hopefully this helps you take a step back and review exactly what you need to do with your money. If you're watching this at a stage when you're midway through your journey, it's not too late to do these calculations and see how much time you've got left and what way you need to budget things as you move forward. So these steps are just as applicable, but if you've just gone through the process or you need additional support from a career perspective, it's time to invest and try to accelerate that journey so you can keep some of that bonus, okay? Good luck with your job searches.